Before we get into this topic, I just want to say that this isn't a hit piece or a call to action. Do not harass people in this video. Let them be who they want to be, and you go and be what you want to be. Not everyone is going to agree with you all of the time. That being said, us over at Dive-In do not agree with Big Nick's views on a lot of things, and we will not be editing his post to suit a narrative. These are all in Big Nick's words, in order from oldest to newest. With all that being said, let's dive into the Domina meltdown. Domina is a 2017 gladiator management game released by Quebec development house Dolphin Barn. The creator goes by the username Big Nick, who is a one-man show from what we can see. If we are going to be honest, he is way harder on himself than he has any right to be, but you'll see what we mean by that soon enough. Domina was released on Steam as an early access title and gained a dedicated following. The following liked the game itself, but they also liked Big Nick and his personality. From what we can surmise, he is a very generous developer, regularly engaging and assisting his community and injecting a lot of his personality into his posts and games. Often in his patch notes he would include snippets of his humor or personal anecdotes about his day-to-day life. Typically these were self-deprecating jabs at himself, what some younger folks might call dark humor. The following is read in chronological order and is not edited other than some light censoring for language. February 19th, 2017, Beta Patch 0.11. This is a very early patch. In fact, the notes themselves only started 3 days prior on the 16th of February. He describes bug fixes and balancing issues, but right in the middle, you can see a line in all capital letters. As if she's f***ing dating someone already. Fuck my life. We weren't able to look back at all of Big Nick's socials because he's been banned on Twitter, Bandcamp, Epic, and Steam, but it sounds like he went through a pretty bad breakup and was snooping on his ex. To conclude the note, and take a jab at himself, he adds, as always, more miscellaneous fixes that weren't important to anyone but me. February 28th, 2017. Beta Patch 0.17. Once again, shoved in the middle of balancing and bug fixes is a note that reads, "My mental and physical health are rapidly deteriorating." The more we read these patch notes, the more we realize this is just part of Big Nick's humor. It sounds like Nick wasn't having a great life and just wanted someone to listen. March 8th, 2017. Beta Patch 0.22. Nick added some new battles and more poignantly, updates us on his life. 400,000 tiny fixes for stuff that no one will ever notice or care about. But I do, because I have nothing else going on in my life right now. March 21st, 2017, Beta Patch 0.31. This is the largest patch note to date, fixing a ton of bugs and balancing the game further. We also get a glimpse into what would be Big Nick's manifesto. On the problem of adjusting the AI to certain playstyles, at the very end, Nick says, "To make the user observe what is already present in the individual and maximize that potential rather than trying to force the individual into a role that he's poorly suited towards." Why is this important? Because people need to learn to do things for themselves, to maximize their strengths rather than to criticize their weaknesses. This clearly shows the hypocrisy he constantly spouts. Over the course of a few years of patch notes, Nick will constantly be criticizing what he perceives as his own weaknesses and denounce his strengths. March 24th, 2017, Beta Patch 0.34. A small patch with few words. This is purely conjecture on our part, but Nick doesn't seem to be very cheerful. He releases a second patch, 0.35, on the same day. We aren't sure what the context is, but it seems like he was chewed out by someone on his forums about how bad the previous patch note was. In the new ones, he not only gives a full explanation of what he fixed, but he also says, "Fixed. Game-ending stuff that I won't go into detail about because spoilers." Why even mention it then? I don't know. Just being thorough. Pedantic, more like it. No one asked you. You shut up. No, you! 2 lines down, he would write, "Added. More obnoxious bullshit in patch notes." Just to annoy that one guy. April 1st, 2017, the 1.0 release. April Fool's Day and the full game officially comes out. Nick thanks his followers for the support and looks to be in good spirits. He says at the end, "Looking forward to letting everyone play. Enjoy the game. Peace, Big Nick." April 7th, 2017, 1.0.9. More standard bug fixes alongside a line item that reads, "Added. It's been a while since I wrote something stupid in the patch notes." This is, thankfully, a much more positive joke. Unfortunately, Above it, he says, "You'd think I'd learn how to code eventually." April 14th, 2017. No updates for a bit. Up until this point, Nick has been writing a patch note every day, sometimes multiple times a day. The burnout is real, and it shows. Working on refactoring some major pieces of code because I'm a moderately garbage level programmer. This is stuff that shouldn't have made it past alpha, but you know, I'm not perfect, so I was trying to keep up with semi-daily patches, and I would very much like to patch the recent wave of Domina bot hacking that has started, but all I can do is now suggest, if your bot is already connected to the channel, do not permit other bots to join the channel. It's people trying to fuck with your stream. It's the whole reason the bot asks for permission to join. I don't have a better solution than that, unfortunately, because I'm trying to make the game function on laptops and integrated desktops. If the game is unplayable for you as of 1.0.14 at the lowest quality settings, then please ask Steam for a refund as soon as possible. I hope that 1.0.15 will have the memory bug solved, but I can't guarantee it because I'm not a professional programmer. I just pretend to be one on the internet to try and get girls. It sounds like Discord was giving him issues that he wasn't able to fix, and he really beats himself up for it. The girls line seems more like depressive language disguised as humor. April 19th, 2017. 1.0.18. A mysterious life event has appeared. You use save and quit. It's super effective. We aren't sure what this Pokemon-inspired update is in relation to. Nick most likely had some personal issues and needed to take a break from the game. Some of us thought this might be relating to suicide, but it seems like that's a stretch to me. One day later, Nick would be back posting patch notes, taking not a single bit of time off. April 24th, 2017, 1.0.25. I need a break, causing more problems than I'm solving. May 1st, 2017, 1.0.30. A Name Your Gladiator feature is added alongside more bug fixes. In the parenthesized line, he says, "This might be a stupid feature anyways. I don't know. You have a good weekend? Mine was okay." May 8th, 2017, 1.0.33. In response to a pause bug, he writes, "Removed. Any lingering doubts about Big Nick being a reasonably good programmer." May 15th, 2017, 1.0.35. Big Nick is really hard on himself for not eating dessert offered to him at a barbecue. I went to a delightful barbecue on the weekend. Totally forgot to eat one of those desserts that was offered, and now I feel stupid. But how are you, though? The patch notes seem to be a sounding board where he can publicly degrade himself without anyone trying to correct him. Again, this is most likely a joke, but a pretty miserable one at that, as it costs Nick his positive self-image. May 27th, 2017, 1.0.40. The update is just a string of Fs with a single bug fix regarding gauntlets. June 6, 2017. Nick thanks one of his more prolific forum posters called Samael for assisting him in answering questions. One of the more pertinent posts he makes is regarding the Domina name. He mentions that Domina is a term for a female head of household, and Dominus is about a male one. Remember this, as it will come up at the end of the video. Samael continues to help until August 29th, 2018. June 21st, 2017. 1.0.52. Nick seems to be in a really good mood, which is a welcome change. Not only does he write down a little skit, but he doesn't put himself down as he goes over what can properly run the game. He signs off with, "We'll likely shut down for a few days/weeks, perhaps during the summer sale. Do not be alarmed if you don't see daily updates for a while. Stay gold. Big Nick." He only takes 7 days off and is back on June 28th. July 7th, 2017. Q1 report. Once again, Nick is in a really good mood. He lays out a bit of history of the game and reports the sales figures up until this point. Past, a broken man escapes corporate slavery with a singular goal: to deliver a top quality product that's good enough to fist bump the Steam Top 50. Present, Domina repeatedly slaps around the other gladiators of the Steam Top 50. 100k units sold in Q1, rating up to 89%-ish, cats and dogs living together. Future, content, voxels? Fewer references to my failed intimate relationships in professional literature. One last big heading. Thank you for your investment in me and my product. Anyways, as it turns out, I'm super greedy, so please buy the Domina soundtrack and all my other music at his Bandcamp link that no longer works. Stay gold. Big Nick. August 9th, 2017. Update. Would anyone have any objections if I were to test some of the DLC on a beta branch of the main game? This will come up later once he starts to fight Steam management. September 22nd, 2017. 1.0.58. A fairly large patch that Nick clearly worked hard on. At the end he signs off with, probably some other stuff too. I'm super tired. We don't want to read into that too much, but it seems to be the end of the positive run of patch notes. September 25th, 2017. 1.0.59 and 1.0.60. Nick is back to putting himself down. Fixed. Gladiators couldn't be added to a second battle. Counters not being reset from some DLC code that I'm working on, which I have to disable every time I want to release a patch, which takes a long time because I'm really bad at my job. Please, don't tell my boss. September 26, 2017. 1.0.61. Balancing. Fuck my life. Clearly someone was concerned with that sentence, or Nick felt like he needed to be more transparent because there were a few edits below. The edit number 2 reads, "The above balancing joke refers to the ongoing difficulty curve balancing issues that we've been experiencing for the previous 60 revisions, not some balancing that I didn't want to divulge the details of. Apologies for the confusion." The third edit reads, "Back with another one of those block rockin' patch notes. This patch is pretty broken. Can't select gladiators in regional games, but I'm still working on it. Was hoping to have a nice solid new balanced game for you to play this weekend, but it looks like I probably screwed that up." October 2nd, 2017. Q2 report. Passed. Units 150k. Patches released. 10. Irrelevant patch notes, including these. 7. The postscript edit reads, "Removed self-important rants, smiley face." We aren't sure which rants he is talking about because this post isn't archived on the Wayback Machine, so we won't be able to see what he removed. This would be the last quarterly report he would bring out. December 20th, 2017. 1.1.7. He finally breaks and flies to the southwest part of the United States. Currently pushing builds from my janky-ass laptop, somewhere in the American desert because I've completely lost the plot and can't tolerate the dark, cold winter in my tiny, lonely house anymore. Burnout is real. Go hug someone you love because there is nothing else. June 28th, 2018. 1.1.30. Over half a year has gone by without Nick being self-deprecating or negative towards himself, and since he has posted something non-game related in a patch note. This one is a rant on hot dogs. Fixed. Gladiator defense would sometimes bug out and let an attack fall through a shield, even though the guy clearly blocked the strike. And by sometimes, I mean like maybe half the time, if the strike came in really fast. So like, anytime you're fighting a real dickhead. Yeah, sorry. Maybe if I didn't live off hot dogs for 2.5 years, my brain would be operating at peak performance, and I would have caught it earlier. Probably not though. Don't blame hot dogs. Delicious hot dogs. I know, I've seen them made. Don't at me. At least it's fixed for now. In fact, it may be because I switched from chicken hot dogs to Red Hots. I'm no wiener scientist, but maybe. August 29th, 2018. 1.2.5. Nick spirals again. Balancing, Medicus Emeritus, impediment healing 2 times faster. No one likes a dude limping around for the whole game. Dudes just gotta get over it sometimes, you know? Wounds heal. Plenty of fish in the sea, right? She's happy. That's the main thing. Who am I to complain? She'd be miserable with me anyways, cause, look, I'm always working on this damn game, or trying to take a nap, or to make the best egg salad sandwich the world has ever seen. Who's even got time to Netflix, let alone chill? Balancing. Max stat gain for battles now capped to 25. Large battles, especially in endless mode, could basically train up a noob from 0 to 200. Not even one of my patented egg salad sandwiches could provide that much stat gain, so let's be realistic. Be realistic. Set your sights a bit lower. That's it. Aim low. Low expectations has got to be the way to true love. Anyway, enjoy this seemingly arbitrary stat nerfing. So everyone at Dive In agrees. That is some nihilistic shit right there. Nick is not having a good time. December 19th, 2018. The OSX version is now available. Nick seems very excited for Christmas and rattles off some issues with the new Mac port. He signs off with, "Still working on it, as always. For everyone who requested an OSX port, please buy it because it's inexpensive, and it was really frustrating, and a lot of work to get this done before Christmas. And now I own 2 MacBooks that I need to pay off." January 16th, 2019. 1.2.14. Nick goes on a rant about horses and men fighting that turns into an anti-war statement and a trolley problem. Fixed. Chariots/horses/behemoths being selected for champion challenges. Because sometimes a man just wants to challenge a horse to a fight. I think it's wrong personally, but let's not judge Romans by our refined sensibilities. Placed in proper context, horse punching might be better than, say, going to war. So like, if you have a festival of games to prove which community is stronger, then that community's place in the hierarchy can be determined by feats of strength, challenges, etc., rather than having to go to war with the other community, commit mass murder and genocide. No, instead, we pit our champions against each other to see which prevails. The best of ours against the best of theirs. Games are better than war. Punching a horse is better than mass murder. I don't condone cruelty to animals, but in a context of triage, what is more important? The lives of thousands, millions of people, or a man punching a horse and then getting trampled to death because, I'm in awe of the lad. An absolute unit, this horse just tramples him. He ends the note with another dig at himself. April 6, 2019. 1.2.17. Made a bologna sandwich on a croissant today, and it was delicious, but it felt wrong. Too decadent, you know? September 27th, 2019. 1.2.24. The first DLC of Domina releases. It allows you to keep an inventory of your overstock. Nick would promise to distribute Steam keys for the semi-closed beta patch. October 2nd, 2019. 1.2.26. Nick has a small humorous breakdown. Fixed. Haru specs cannot revive fallen hero despite having full training. Guy just squats there playing with entrails while avoiding doing work. What a work slacker. Nothing I hate more than work slackers, wasting time on some meaningless squishy blobs on the floor, or writing patch notes like this instead of doing the job they were hired to do. Ha 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 ha, I'm fine. No, I'm just uploading the patch now. No, I'm not writing patch notes instead of working. November 8th, 2019. 1.2.34. New classes were added to the roster for your gladiators. Sagittarius and Velite. He also increased the DLC codes released for people he said were in the know. It seems like you would have to be connected to him to receive them, meaning the majority of the community were out of the DLC. After a rant about the healing button being re-implemented, he breaks the news that the OS X port is being dropped. He hasn't booted either one of his MacBooks in months and was focused on making a new DLC. December 18th, 2019. 1.2.42. Big Nick reveals something new about his project. He's been programming this entire time in standard C, which is no small feat in itself from what I understand. He finds a way to beat himself up more in the last line item. Fixed. Mouse up after clicking event outcome triggered a click on a gladiator. Kids, use a game engine. If you're gonna write a game in C to prove something to the world, let me be the first to tell you it's a dumb idea. May 1st, 2020. 1.2.53. He starts off by blaming Steam for stability issues, so he disables Steam integration, no achievements and no stats. This is bad news, but he is continuing to work on it. He also mentions that if someone owns Domina, they can get all the DLC if they just subscribe to the beta. The Livery, Hall of Heroes, Sagittarius class, Felite class, Charioteer class, Scissor class, and the Presidio employee were free for anyone. May 25th, 2020. 1.2.65. He says in a bug fix line item. Fixed. Hopefully. Life is suffering. Why do bad bugs happen to good people? I don't know. April 13th, 2021. 1.2.88. Nick takes steps to make the game more family friendly. New. Sanitized text. The most offensive words are replaced with lesser offensive words. In text events, options, and outcomes. No more F-words, C-words, or other C-words for ye who wouldst rather prefer to be unassailed by such vulgarities. Just a heads up, this is where his years of chronic non-confidence and self-deprecation catch up with him. He latches on to some fairly controversial online groups. If you know what Kiwi Farms is, you won't be surprised. You've been warned. May 6th, 2021, 1.2.89. The last line item from a simple patch note about fixing whips and stamina ends with an anti-porn weak men rant that comes out of seemingly nowhere. Still, men won't fight. They're weak. There's no accounting for weak men. Weak men lack character. Strong moral fiber is hard to come by. It's earned through hard work and sacrifice, and cannot be had via OnlyFans or Pornhub. No, these fucking things are demonic possessions, waiting to show you a succubus titty in hopes that you'll waste a load on her instead of spending that energy studying how to weld or grow a potato or learning a new language or how to program a computer. Listen, kids, get off them porn tubes and do something with your life, because no one is gonna give you a goddamn thing, and this whole mess we call civilization is only getting harder. We need solutions, and we need smart men who can work hard and implement those solutions. Masturbating to e-girls isn't gonna solve the energy crisis, is it? Get to work. Or play video games and have a relax and then go to work, fresh tomorrow. I can't possibly know what's best for you in your individual situation. Really, don't let strangers on the internet tell you how to live your life. If you want to be told how to live your life, read the New Testament. The internet only gives you lies. June 24th, 2021. 1.3 tactical multiplayer patch. Nick spends the rest of May putting out normal patch notes until the tactical multiplayer beta patch comes out. Please be patient and report bugs to the forum. Support the developer with cash money because he lives in a socialist utopia where nothing works, is the best way to ensure timely updates. Buy the first wave of DLC and the soundtrack, and we'll do our best to keep going into work every day, despite civilizational collapse. No way John McAfee killed himself. Highly dubious. Highly fucking dubious. Here he admits the DLC is now a paid feature. This will become important later. June 26, 2021. 1.3.2. Nick spends 3 line items outlining the definition of a joke unprompted, just to put himself down. March 8th, 2022. 1.3.18. Nick falls squarely into the anti-mask COVID hoax crowd on the basis that he was trying to get men into relationships. Take off the frickin' masks. Next time you're at the grocery store, try showing a woman your face. Be confident, unafraid of lies. You might actually get a girlfriend. Women like confidence. Women don't like dudes who cover their face in fear. What are you afraid of? Getting laid? Grow up. This is a pretty bold statement from a guy who's been kicking his own ass for the past 5 years. March 22nd, 2022. 1.3.21. Nick displays his fondness for Ayn Rand's Atlas Shrugged. Did John Galt kill himself? No, but everybody at the motor company probably wished he would. March 31st, 2022. 1.3.22. Nick displays his hate for trans folks, lumping them in with livestock and circus animals. New employee, Bestiarius. Finally, you can upgrade lions, horses, and behemoths. Trains strength attacks and defense stats. Bestiarius also adds a heal option, even if you don't have a Medicus or a Medicus Emeritus, or you're a man who has inverted his penis into a vagina. The Bestiarius will automatically train animals after healing, but it won't make you a woman. Domina would get review bombed after the last patch note, leading Big Nick to fight back and try to get the newest reviews deleted. According to him, Steam wasn't budging. He would turn to patch notes once again to air his grievances. This is the last visible patch note on the current Steam page for Domina. August 6th, 2022. Steam publishes dozens of fraudulent reviews of our game and we flag them as such. Our flags are removed, and despite any evidence, the fraud reviews stand. No evidence is ever offered that we've done anything wrong with DLC, but the claims are echoed for eternity on B-level gaming blogs, just to be used as ammunition on Twitter. Circle jerks. Disgusting. Now we can't even flag the lying reviews as fraudulent because nameless, cowardly Steam moderators who we cannot interact with have final editorial control. How can we have a working relationship with a platform that actively wants us off the platform? At this point, it is doubtful that Domina will receive future updates on Steam. If that upsets you, I encourage you to talk to Gabe Newell. His ship is sinking and he doesn't give a f***. Integrity is key. Centurion, adept, adopt, improve. At the Big Nick. The August 13th, 2022 edit reads, Steam mods banned me from Domina forum for a week, ostensibly for strong language, but if you hold a mirror up to the world, 80% of them will throw a brick at you. Exactly 0 human beings have the balls to put their names on the ban. Cowards. Clowns. What a stupid company to work at. It must be so sad collecting so much money from people who actually create something, and then banning their opinions. I wonder how many stomach ulcers are at Steam, Valve. How much Prilosec is prescribed to them? 0 among them. It's obvious. What a pity. Well, that was a very dramatic final note, but here is what's happening behind the scenes between the end of March and the beginning of August. On May 9th, 2022, Nick finds out that he is banned on the Epic Store and by proxy, Bandcamp, for comments he has made. He isn't very happy, and some of his community fire back at him. The bans start to increase. August 13th, 2022, he is banned from his Steam forums after ranting about the review bombing and how Steam is all fake and biased. He has also been banning people for minor infractions and disagreeing with him. Nick continues to rant about Steam, saying that any negative review complaining about DLC is fraudulent, despite the update proving that he has made free content paid. August 22nd, 2022. The YouTube channel Jimquisition does a report on the Domina situation. Big Nick goes after the YouTuber on Twitter. He follows this up by raising the price of the game, but in Israel it's particularly bad, going up to almost 274 shekels. August 29th, 2022. The Jimquisition channel does another video on the Domina situation. Big Nick goes after Jimquisition on Twitter again, getting into a long back and forth between the channel's fans and himself. This leads to Twitter banning his personal and work accounts. August 31st, 2022. Big Nick posts the official final update. It would later be deleted. He also changes the game's name to Dominus and the background color from red to blue. The patch note reads, 1.3.25, dead name, Domina. Please respect our pronouns during this difficult transition. We're out of ideas, mentally unstable, totally degenerate, and desperate for clout. Let's pretend we're a completely different game to regain relevance. Dead name, Domina. Please don't mention it anymore. We only mention it here to say, don't mention it anymore. It's totally normal to change the sex of a video game and not confusing to anybody. Please do not be a bigot. If you are confused, please simply stop being confused. And remember that Domina doesn't exist and never did. But Dominus does exist. And always has. And you just didn't know you were playing as a man who was dressed as a woman, but now that we reveal it to you, you have no right to feel deceived. The same way the poor drunk dudes who translates like Kefals had sexual intercourse with, without disclosing that they were a man, have no right to feel wronged, and you're a bigot for being confused or even mentioning something like that happening, let alone having an opinion about it. He mentions a few bug fixes and ends with, stop destroying the innocence of children by lying to them about basic biology. Stand up for what you believe. Ask God for courage. His antics would lead Steam to ban him completely and to remove all of his games off of Steam's distribution service. Big Nick would share his permaban note on his Gab account and went after Steam. He claimed to make Steam millions and that it was a sinking ship. My God, there isn't enough salt in the world to match his level of saltiness. The Kefals he mentioned is a Canadian Twitch streamer who happens to be trans. Kiwi Farms would coordinate swatting and other disruptions against her in an attempt to remove her from the platform. All attempts have been unsuccessful. I don't have a full record of Big Nick's views since September 2022, but in July of 2023, he would interrupt a Twitch stream by atheist streamer Actual Jake. He would ask Jake to fight, but then rage quit after a few minutes of not getting the results he wanted. But that was the new Nick. The old Nick, the man who a few short years ago was pining over a lost love and painfully non-confident, was now looking to fight a random person over their opinions about his religion. You can't say that isn't growth, just maybe not growth in the right direction. Both myself and the Dive-In team truly do wish Nick the best, and we hope that he finds some peace. Thanks for watching.